103.7 KISS FM, Alley and DZ live from the AdamDeputy.com studios. Now, DZ, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
I'm very excited about our next guest because finally somebody in this city asked me to be on their podcast.
Somebody asked to interview you.
Me!
Chill out, man.
I couldn't believe it. I got this DM one day on Facebook from this very nice man, Xavier, who's right next to me. Good morning, Xavier.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Happy to have you here. I know that's right.
He says, Allie, I have this podcast called Spearhead Conversations, and I'm wondering if you'd come on it. And I was like, okay. And he was like, for real? I was like, yeah, what's up? Let's go.
The fact about the response, how quick it was, I was like, get out of here. Alley Faiths, 103.7.
And all of a sudden, just like, you thought you was going to have to try to convince her or something.
Sure.
And she was just like, oh, yeah, bet.
Yeah, let's go. What time?
Let's do it.
Where do I go?
Today? Tomorrow? What up?
And I was really happy that I agreed to do it because when I went and met you, you are legit. I mean, and when I say legit, everybody's got a podcast, okay?
Yep.
Everybody wants to be a star. Everybody thinks they're entertaining, and they're not. Okay, I'm just going to keep it real like I always do on this show.
We ain't gunning at the kids that just got their AirPods connected to their phone, and that's their podcast. Like that's not this. Let's just say that.
No.
That's not this.
I walk in, he's got legit setup. He's filming it. You have it together.
Yeah.
You've got all the right equipment. You are taking this very seriously.
Very much. I love Milwaukee, man, and this idea that stemmed off is just, I really am passionate about the people who are coming on the platform. I appreciate you recognizing that because it has been a journey, and everything that I've done is put back into the platform. So it's definitely trying to stand out.
Yeah,
make my guests feel as if, it's your spotlight, So, thank you for recognizing that.
Well, of course, because it matters to people like us. And we notice these things in radio. And I like that you're all Milwaukee focused. You want all Milwaukee people.
For sure.
DZ, this is a clip from the podcast. It's dropped now. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. So people can go watch it on YouTube. They can find all the links, which I've shared on my Facebook and on Instagram. Yep. We'll get how to find the whole podcast. Here's a little clip of one of the questions he asked me in the podcast about our show, DZ.
I love the show. I mean, one of the biggest things about the show is how involved you are with the listeners. What's his name? Calabama?
Ryan from Calabama.
Calabama. And you could tell everybody. Is that his song? Okay, I was like,
I'm the man. I'm the man.
I love that song because I am. No.
This man said, because that's low key. I'm the man too. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about a lot when I came on your podcast. We're talking to Xavier Ruben Mercado from Spearhead Conversations, who has a local podcast, who you focus on all Milwaukee people.
Definitely.
What do you think? People can go listen to the whole podcast because you ask me questions people have never asked me that they don't know how I got the job here.
And at this rate, you'd think that people have asked you all of these things. No, he came in with the real clutch, real perfect, those deep conversation starters, the thought-provoking ones that you're like, dang, I ain't never thought about that.
Well, the way I formulate the questions is, I understand you have success, and there's many versions of success. So, but with that, I really want to get to know who you are, and I want you to basically go through the grind that you went through. I want to step into your world. So it's like with every conversation I do, it's very personal. It starts from where you were born, where you're from, going into how you got your foot in the door, where your success, and then where you plan on going. So it's always a new conversation, and I love it.
You got me thinking a lot during the podcast. He got me thinking a lot, DZ, about. You know what? I'm gonna tell you next. He triggered something in me about a struggle I had working here.
Why ain't you gonna tell me now?
I know, right?
Why ain't you gonna tell me now?
Okay, hold on. No, he really got me thinking about a struggle I've had over the years working at KISS FM. My biggest struggle.
Hold on, you struggled working here.
There's one thing being on the air that didn't occur to me that I wasn't doing right, and so you really triggered something. I mean, I know, but I don't know. So I'm going to tell you the question he asked me, and then I want to know who else you're going to have on your podcast, because there's a lot of local people that we're going to talk to. So coming up next, I'll tell you the one big challenge I've had at Kiss FM over the years that you triggered in me, got me thinking about.
Well, let's go Milwaukee.
Yeah, let's go. We'll tell you what it is next. Kiss FM. 103.7 Kiss FM. Allie and DZ live from the AdamDeputy.com studios. And I am so excited, DZ, that you finally got to meet him yourself this
About
morning.
time.
I told you all about Xavier, how I was going on his podcast, Spearhead Conversations.
Yeah.
How I was excited that he had asked me to be on his podcast. I was flattered. And then, you know what you did? You really got me thinking. One of your questions. Yeah. You know what he asked me?
What did he ask you?
Because nobody ever asked me questions. We ask people questions.
We ask the questions around here, Xavier. But you got Allie asked questions today.
He tripped me up because he goes, Allie, what do you want your legacy to be? I'm like, my legacy?
There you go.
I'm like, damn. That's a deep question, man.
I was just thinking about what I was going to get for lunch.
Yeah,
legacy.
She's thinking about dinner.
I wish I had the air horn of right in front.
The question of questions. But what you triggered in me was some of the things I don't really talk about, which is like being a woman in a male-dominated profession.
Yeah.
Which is, over the years, people have constantly said to me, why is your name last on the show? I've been through 6 morning shows on Kiss FM.
I have followed.
He said, I know all 6 of them, yeah.
What'd you say? You started listening in middle school, right?
It was 8th grade or freshman year, because it was 03, 04, or when you started?
04. I got here in 04.
It was actually freshman year, coming into freshman year. Yeah.
You followed along.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Radio, you go to school, and I'm from South Milwaukee.
Right, yeah.
So, where I lived was down by the Little League, which 15th Ave, it's about a good 5-7 minute drive from my house to the school, but we in the car, and then during winter we stay in the car until
warm it up until you get out.
And we listen to the radio, and you were on the radio.
Right.
Yeah, I'm always in your life, no matter whether you like it or not. I'm always here to haunt you.
You've been with me.
Xavier said, basically saying you helped raise him.
I did. You know what? Tell your mom you're welcome.
Or I'm sorry. Either way.
Actually, that's a better one. Well, you triggered in me, like, I don't know what I want my legacy to be, but I do want it to be noted that I told him I had to learn how to advocate for myself. I had to come in and say, like, why is my name last on this show, and why are men being brought in with less experience or less time on the station, and I continue to be the last one in line, and things are a lot different for women now. So that's where I came. I'm like, you know what I want it to be is that I want women to be empowered and realize that you too can lead a morning show. You don't have to be the girl who reads the news and is told to be quiet when you're done reading the news.
Doing little puff pieces.
Which was what happened when I got here. And my boss has always been super supportive, so shout out to him. But I had guys on the show who said things like, read the news and shut up.
Some deep misogyny.
Imagine that.
Well, she got shut up and dribbled.
And I said, you shut up and look who's not on the show anymore.
Boom.
I loved how she answered it, though, because it was like, you could tell, even in the the video, like, you could tell, like, when that question came up, you embraced the womanism.
I'm very go girl, female empowerment. I always have been, which is I want to be friends with the ladies. No offense to you guys. You guys are secondary. You're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool, but they're cooler.
We cool, but it ain't girl power cool.
It's me and the girl.
I get it. I ain't mad
we fought
at
together,
it.
but you said something important during the podcast, Xavier, is you brought up DZ,
for sure,
being a Latino on this radio station and what that meant to you.
I like I said, I've been listening since freshman year, and I felt there hasn't been that representation on this on this show.
You're right.
And so when you came in, and the first time I heard you said Wepa Wednesday, and I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm like, Wepa.
He started doing the salsa. He said, wait, what's going on? Hold on.
Mark Anthony, baby.
Mama.
But I truly feel like now having you on this show, it's really special, because me and so many other minorities can, like, really connect and have that type of feeling that we are being represented in the city.
Feel that.
So, big ups to you. Man. You know, Wepa all day.
Wepa all day. I appreciate you saying that, man.
It was well overdue.
Yes, we need to represent the city. You know what
definitely.
I mean? It was time for the show to evolve, and it all worked out. And I'm glad. And I've known DZ since he was a baby intern in 2014, and he's worked hard.
She helped raise me too, dog.
Again,
she raised half of Milwaukee.
Tell your mom you're welcome.
Or I'm sorry.
That's gonna be our new sweeper. Tell your mom you're welcome, or I'm sorry. So I want to know, you are all about interviewing people locally about them. Who are your top 3? Leave me out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just no, but truly, who are the top 3 people in Milwaukee you've interviewed on your podcast?
Ooh.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. I know you don't want to pick.
Oh,
so man. You put me on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot.
So I'll start off with Harry Glimberg. He is a jeweler.
Giannis goes to him. Justin Bieber goes to him.
Justin Bieber, yeah. Harry Glimberg, Jason Abraham from Hupie and Abraham,
of course.
And this one hasn't dropped yet, but I'm very excited. Finally got a hold of him. GA.
Our coworker.
G-double-E, baby, don't forget the A.
DJ GA did nights on Kiss for years, and now he's on our sister station right across the hall, Hot 105.7.
Oh, definitely.
I saw that you interviewed him.
Yeah. So
did you find out who Greg is?
Yes,
Greg.
Definitely.
Did you chip away and find out, GA, who's Greg? Who's the guy?
He was loving the angles, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, he's got experience behind the camera. He's got his show, man. That's all Milwaukee,
Show
all
Me
local.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, on the very local app, the Show Me Milwaukee show. Exactly. So come on.
It's awesome because I also did the writer and director for that. Shout out to Aaron Bieber. He actually helped me rebrand the logo that I have. Like I'm wearing one logo. That's the original.
Okay.
And when we rebranded for the new look, and so
I love that Aaron's helping you. He's become like a mentor.
He has.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone that I've interviewed, like, in some way we end up working together, and it's awesome. Like, and they do become like mentors because, I mean, success is success, and it's how you perceive that.
Yeah.
A big one is Philly Flyboy.
His work behind the camera, man.
It's just working with the very best, and him knowing that I'm coming up and doing what I'm doing, but acknowledging it, and when I call him, picks up the phone, and it's been a great experience. I can't complain. Audio wise, podcasts like Educators Amplified, photographers like Stephanie Amaya, artists like Illy.
You give me goosebumps because you're so Milwaukee. He's so like 414.
And that's the thing. Everybody he's talking about is local love. I mean, and they've gone to go do other things in other cities and other places, but where do they always come back to and show love? Who do they come back to and show love to? You saying that's why they end up talking to you.
Well, I feel like, in the beginning of the interview, you acknowledged the whole setup. Like that's very much a part of it because if I'm going to represent this city I love, believe me, I go into, when I began this I went into the city, like South Side, North Side. There was no, I'm gonna get your story. I'm gonna represent you, and the fact that you trust me is the biggest thing. So if sometimes we have to do it more than once, we're gonna do it more than once.
Redo.
It is what it is, right, man?
But I love this city, and just the experience of what it's become. This was born out of sobriety. So that right there for me is like, I broke bad habits and I created new ones, and
good for you.
And in less
you
than
got
a year,
sober, so you quit
traction.
drinking, and then you said, "Where am I going to pull all this energy?" And is that how you started your podcast?
Oh, definitely.
I did want to ask because you know when something has so much passion behind it, which you just exude passion. Like I can see that energy of passion just radiating, dude. Like you animated me, I'm trying not to bounce around with it. Like you just get comfortable, man. I gotta remind myself we're on air and not ask all the crazy questions.
No, you can.
But it's like one of those things where I just wanted to know what drove you and what's kept you so passionate throughout this. And I mean, you just kind of gave us a little bit of a tip or of an insight right there was through sobriety. So
I have 4 kids, and the oldest is 13. I have 2 twins that are about to be 9, and I have a 2-year-old.
Woo.
For the 9-year-olds and the 13-year-old, they're already at that point where they can understand, like they can see and notice if something is off. And you know, along with sobriety is that, you know, and with this platform is I show different aspects of success and just journeys and what it takes.
You do.
And with coming out of the pandemic, I mentioned this in the interview, my kids were only in kindergarten. So until this year, they never had a regular year.
Oh, snap.
So now there's no mask. You go into school full time. This is the first year being back. But with such a hectic time, I want them to look at these interviews, watch them, listen to them, and understand that you put your mind to something, you can do it. In less than a year, we've made leaps from the production to the guests we have on. I totally appreciate you bringing me on here because
of course
it forwards that message. And there's, you know, when you get backed up by staples in the community like you guys, it goes to show, like, don't put out the naysayers. Put out everything else. You focus on what you love.
He's legit. He's legit.
Right, man.
Well, props to you for the sobriety, especially in this city.
Yeah, man.
And let's admit it. It's a tough thing. I have friends who are sober and they struggle being around social situations in this city. And I get it. It's hard. There's a lot of pressure here. Yeah. So props to you for getting sober and changing your life, because a lot of people don't change their lives when something's wrong.
Definitely.
They harp on it, and you've taken all that energy to a positive place and made a podcast.
You know, it's hilarious because I work for a beer distribution.
Oh, jeez, Xavier, come on.
This man is an anomaly, dog.
But, hey,
you're amazing.
But hey, that NA market is blown up. And I'm on the right side of that.
Oh my gosh, I would talk to you forever, but we're out of time.
Hey, no problem.
It goes so quick.
How do we find you, though, man?
Thank you.
How do we find you? Where can people tap in?
How do you watch the podcast with Alley? Let's get to it.
That part. That part. How do people check in with you?
Before I do that, I just want to shout out my team.
Sure, yeah.
Nick KB behind the camera.
Nick from Grafton. Not originally from South Milwaukee. Now he lives in Grafton.
Steven Van Ploe, he's out in LA. He's a visual editor. And Michael Cooper, he's our audio technician.
Yeah.
And my wife. Aww. My wife is a big part of this journey.
I met her at a Bucks game, DZ. She was very sweet.
Yeah, there you go. And you know, I'm gonna do this one shout out just because she texted me right before. Erica, I love you. This is my sister. Mama, we made it, but the way
you're on Kiss FM, you made it.
But the way you can, we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
I shared it on my Facebook last night as well. So it's Spearhead Conversations. You're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. Yep. I shared the link to mine. And from mine, you can go to his page and you can find all the interviews.
And I do have exciting news through Web Tech Solutions to my boy Brad G and Kate Hinn. We have a website in the works.
Getting a website.
So
get that.com.
That will be spearheadmke.com.
Nice. Keep doing what you're doing in Milwaukee. Yeah. Keep highlighting the people that make this city awesome.
For sure.
Because we love that. We love being, local in here. And we didn't have any. We don't have enough of this, We don't have enough Milwaukee love like that.
Well, I mean, and it's tough because you get a lot of people, and I'm not discrediting anybody that's from the city that tries to get out of the city, but that's so many people's goals, like to make it out the city.
Yeah,
you got so much going on within the city that you don't got to make it out of nothing. You can make it out the mill.
That's been the beauty of it. That's been the beauty of the platform. It's like having everyone just come together, and that's what it is.
And showing all the different ways of you can be successful in Milwaukee and all the good things about it. So thank you for showing our city in a positive light.
Hey, well, thank you for having me on, and thank you for pushing the message forward.
Of course. Xavier Ruben Mercado, he's going to spearhead conversations.
We'll be seeing DZ on the platform.
Are you going to have him on next?
Oh, we gonna get him on.
Good.
Is that an official ask? Because the answer is yes.
Hey,